Hello, everybody, and welcome to My Music. Now, I have an apology to make before we even start, that if you can hear anybody singing in the background, it's because we have a birthday in the house today, and the studio space is just off from the kitchen, and there is cake baking going on, and he's very happy. My son is very happy in the kitchen, and when people are happy, they sing, don't they, Annie?
They certainly do.
You see, and Annie agrees. Annie's my guest today. We shall be coming back to speak to Annie any minute now. But first,
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Annie, thank you so much for joining me. For a start, I'm transfixed by your glasses. They're just amazing.
Well, do you know what? I always notice when I've got a mirror or screen that you can see how strong they are because my face is smaller
Yeah,
behind the lenses. Yes, do you know what? They're large, yes. And do you know what? If I'm going to wear glasses, I might as well make something out of it, make it fashion, so the bigger the better for me.
these, if people put them on, they can normally see through them because they don't do that much. It's only a slight difference between 20/20 vision and what I've got on here.
Lucky.
Right? Yes, but it's getting worse as I get old. That's the thing, and I've been told that. But with yours, if I looked through them, would I not be able to see anything? Because my daughters are like that.
They're not like, I
They're
can
not.
see, I'm not too far away from you. I can see the screen, but I can't see like the details of
Right.
stuff.
Now, I've got to say, I found you from the old Instagram, and I was going through, and then yours popped out because it's a very particular style that you've got, and the music is enchanting, wonderful. And you're gonna always, when you find music that takes you into a different world, you're going to make some kind of comparisons. But I couldn't really work out exactly which the comparisons were. But I think the closest thing I'm going to go to is you're somewhere between Enya and Liz Fraser, because there's kind of some Cocteau twin kind of musings in there, but with a bit more poppy than any of that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that sounds, absolutely fair. And I love those comparisons. Yeah, that sounds fair to me. I mean, at heart, I love pop music. That's my medium of, communication. But of course, like your influences or what you listen to every day, you don't always sound like your influences directly. So I might say to someone, oh, I love, I don't know, Philip Glass. And they'll be like, I don't hear that at all. And that's fine as well. It's just like it comes out in other ways. Or
Do you like Philip Glass?
I do like Philip Glass. Yeah, that's why I'm called Annie Glass.
Really? What was the first bit of Philip Glass that you heard?
What was the first Philip Glass that I'd heard? I think it was maybe something like Einstein on the Beach or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm also terrible with just facts and names. I just like the abstractness of like a lot of his stuff and the audacity of it, especially, at that time people were like, what you doing, mate? And when you're particularly like, classically trained, you know exactly what you're doing. So you're not doing it because you can't make classical music, because what is I do, because I can't write or play excellently like people like that. But I really appreciate that power of simplicity.
Yeah, it's like classical music deconstructed in a way, and then working on the elements that perhaps are more pop in a way.
And instant.
Yeah, absolutely. How much of that kind of, let's build on a melody line, let's repeat, let's find a hook and carry on with that hook and then see where we can go with that hook. How much of that is an influence in terms of the way that you write?
Yeah, I mean, for me, with any art, it's always about how it makes you feel, or like that connection. And it might be the melody. Generally for me it is the melody, but it's not always that, and it's not that for everyone. It could be the lyrics for some as well. But it's about finding that way to create that sense of, for me, comfort, familiarity in a sense, because I like to feel, because there's so much going on in the world, and for me at this stage anyway, music, I just want comfort. I want to feel I don't know, like the music is like hugging you in a sense. So I like melodies, I like harmonies, I like layers, I like that sense of depth in the sound, so it's not too tinny, and that's quite difficult to do as well when you're making electronic music, which is why I added, some live bass and cello, because there's so much electronic music, and not that it isn't good, but it can be cold, and that's something that I wanted to challenge in this album more, to create electronic music that had more, I guess, like an organic feel to it.
Maybe another way of putting it is that you're bringing some humanness back into something that is effectively technologically driven. Yeah.
And for me also, I also have to play to my strengths, because I'm not like an excellent musician. I just love music. I love writing pop songs. I love Paul McCartney, someone who's like really melody driven. So I have to, electronic music is sort of a really democratic way of make it accessible way of making music.
Raised a really big question there, though. Who's to determine who's a really great musician?
Well, I would.
Do you mean technically good?
Yes, yeah. So I couldn't sit there and just play you some piece. I'd have to practice for like hours and then pretend that I'd be like, oh, how about this little piece? I'm not like, I can play my songs and sing my songs, but not.
But do you know what? Over the years that I've been doing this now, and I've been very fortunate to interview some of the most amazing musicians in the world, but the amount of musicians that I have spoken to or the amount of great songwriters that I've spoken to who would say I'm not a great musician, right? Mm-hmm. Because actually, and some of them would have said actually along the way with that as well, that actually they've come across some amazing musicians who, when it comes to writing, just go, completely stuck. I think there's a handful of people in the world that are fantastic technically, but also are able to create with an amazing passion, and they can almost forget the technical side of what they're doing and allow the humanist to come into that, because they're kind of fighting against themselves in a way with that. And I, sometimes the greatest music is produced by people that literally just, they find what they've got in front of them and they bash it.
I agree, and like that's why I think I like people like Philip Glass, and Arthur Russell, in the sense that, like, people like Picasso, like they can do their thing very well, but they, like we said earlier, they're like sort of deconstructing it and wanting to, experiment with their instruments and with their sound and see what else they can do, rather than just be confined to playing classical music. And that's not to say that I don't love classical music, and that's also adding that I couldn't possibly play classical music. So there's a sense of that. I'm like, well, I can't do it, so we shouldn't do it. I guess I'm there's slight contradiction in what I'm saying, but I like that sense of freedom in art. And I think you can sense that when you listen to something, that there's the authenticity. And what I mean by that, from my perspective, is that it's true to them. You can tell when art or music is honest to that person.
Yep.
And what's difficult as well is that you can hear something that's like a good song and it's sung really well, and you just can't connect to it, and you can't work out why. And for me, it's because the person who's presenting it did the song or the music isn't resonating with them, and they just can't connect with it, so that you can't connect with it then. So I'm looking for that authenticity and that honesty in a piece of music and art in general.
and I think that's what the listeners listening out for as well. That's what people come to music for, like, because they want to connect with something emotionally. And you know, it depends. Sometimes if we're in a space and we just want to dance, then that could be manufactured just for that space.
Yeah.
You know, I've said that a lot to people over the years. They've gone, oh yeah, I listen to this, and I go, yeah. Do you know what? I used to be a club DJ at one point, and I love dance music, and I love it in that situation, right?
Yeah.
I used to love, playing to 3,500 people and getting 3,500 people to dance away and, really let go or whatever. That's fine. Would I listen to that music outside of that? No, not at all. Just because for me personally, it doesn't work outside of that situation. In a quiet space, I probably want something that grabs the emotion a little bit more. Isn't necessarily designed to try and get me to dance.
I agree, and there's that, and there's like for me, because I'm going out less than I used to. You're spending more time like at home or like traveling somewhere, so you're generally listening to a lot of the time, unless you're going to live shows or all the clubs. You're generally listening to music by yourself, so you kind of. Sometimes, unless I don't know, you want to go for a jog, then you might want that's like more like dancey music. But you want like that deeper connection with something because you are more actively listening than you would be if you're like you. I guess no, you do listen when you're in the club and you're dancing, but I don't know. You're listening to more of the layers and the details than you might be otherwise when you're by yourself, I think.
Well, yeah, but also you want when you used to do that, you wanted lyrics that. Like you could sing while you were half out of breath. Personally, it's not. I don't. You don't want sort of like deep philosophical lyrics when you're like doing this and jumping up and down on the dance floor. Now, listen, is that your space that you're creating? This space that's behind you. Is this your music?
Oh yeah,
area?
yeah. This is it. This is some of it. I'm actually like on the computer where like you can't see like there's my
this is
speakers.
like Pro Tools and whatever.
Yeah. So I'm on Ableton.
Ableton,
yeah.
Right.
But I've got some. Yeah. So you can see just here. There's like the cello is just there.
Lovely.
It's quite hard to do like backwards. And...
It's kind of a music stand. We can't see the cello. That's like the other way. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, just some bits and bobs and some bits you can't see, like some synths and mess, which I put down here that you can't see.
What I quite like about it is, you've got the piano there. I mean, is the piano, the main piano, is that where you would generally start? Is that your starting point or not? Or is it literally actually, oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting.
I think I'm more like, I might sing like a melody into a phone. I generally like build up ideas, like snippets of lyrics, and melodies on the phone, and then when I've got more of an idea, I'll come and sit down and try and do something with it, because I'm not very good, and I have tried, but I'm not very good just sitting down like, right, let's write a song, because I feel like it's just not my strength. Some people are really good at that, and I don't like doing it, and I'm not very good at doing it like that. I need to have sort of collection of ideas before I sit down and do something. But I'd be honest, I probably don't sit at the piano. I probably sit at the keys, as in like a synth, and play it directly in. Because I mostly use hardware, I'd like to get an idea of the sort of the tones and the textures that inspires like how I write the songs, rather than just playing on the piano. And plus, I think that's like a bit out of tune as well. So
actually, the biggest thing in the room is probably the least touched thing in the room, maybe.
For me, yeah, my partner uses it a lot because he's much better than me. But
okay, but what's quite interesting, when you look at that room and the way it's set out, and you've got like a keyboard there, and then the keyboard there, and the keyboard there, and then the keyboard here, and then something. It almost gives me almost comic vibes, where like you could almost imagine you like starting something on one, and then running.
Do you know what the dream would be? To have a studio where they're all plugged in and you can do that, because you see like these big studios and people who have like the best collections of synths, and they're all plugged in, ready to go. That's like the dream. Obviously, I have to like take it off. I have to put it on the stand, plug it in, plug it into the computer. But
and there's a megaphone there. Is that for the music, or is that just to say, "Come and get your supper"? I mean,
you know what? No, I did use that in a band that I was in, and yeah, I love it. I think I saw it on TV the other day. Someone was using the exact same. I was watching Motherland. That was it. And I was watching, and they use the exact same megaphones. I was like, "Look, I'm cool."
Oh, yeah. You should just do some megaphone shots with you, just for the sake of it, mate. Sort of like almost retro megaphone.
It's quite a nice design, isn't it? It's got a bit of a retro feel to it. So.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Like a VW camper van colours, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you could find a VW camper van with exactly the same colours and you had you standing at the front, it'd make a great album cover.
That would be very nice. I wouldn't mind a camper van.
If anyone's got a camper van that colour, that you could just lend Annie for the day, that would be marvellous.
Or the weekend. That's also cool.
It's just a weekend, so she can go to a festival, isn't it?
Yeah. And sleep the whole time because I'm too lazy.
Really? Is that what you would do at festivals?
No, I wouldn't. But it would take a lot for me to like commit to a festival because I just don't like camping. I've tried so many times and something always goes wrong.
Totally with you there. So Annie, tell me, you sing in more than one language. You sing in English, you sing in Cornish, which the only Cornish I know is clotted cream, and and you sing in Welsh.
Yes.
You laugh, but it's true. Or Cornish pasties, obviously. What for a start, how did you end up learning all of these languages?
Yeah, I was raised first language Welsh and Cornish, so we spoke Welsh to my mum and then Cornish to my dad. We went to Welsh medium school as well, and then my parents spoke Cornish together, and me and my sister spoke Welsh together. So it sounds bonkers, but it kind of just sort of worked. So they're sort of the sort of linguistic influences, and then in terms of like how they're represented on the album, I think it's more to do with sort of the balance of how much of those languages I speak from day to day. So I speak Welsh at home with my partner, and then a lot of our friends that live around the area are Welsh. My sister lives around the corner. We speak Welsh. Then I see my dad and my brother. We speak Cornish, and obviously English a lot, like day to day out and about. So it's just, I think, like I said earlier, it's just trying to be honest in terms of how I present the art, and in the sense of languages, that's kind of the balance. That's where it sits with me.
Do you get any kickback from that at all? I mean, for me, I really quite enjoy listening to songs sung in other languages. I really enjoy it. And in fact, I really enjoy listening to people like Liz Fraser singing gobbledygook as well. I find it's there's something about it in a way, if you don't actually necessarily understand the words, but you understand the feeling behind it, that gives you a different emphasis on the music. But do you ever get sort of like, oh, I don't want to understand that, so I'm not?
No, I really don't. I think generally speaking, if you sing in a sort of a minority language or non-English in the UK, you kind of fall onto the radar of people who are interested or who are already listening to those languages. So it doesn't really come up, to be honest. And I don't know whether I've said it in this interview, but I do say it quite a lot. I think audiences are underestimated, really, because they are generally quite open. It's just exposure to it. It's like kids love J-pop, K-pop. They don't have a problem with the language. They just love the image. They love the feel of it. And like you said, if you can translate that, people can feel that, the vibe within the song, and feel the sentiment. The language is important, obviously, to the artist, because the lyrics are really important to me. But as long as I get across the sort of the sentiment and the idea behind the song through the music, I think that's enough for me as well.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned your sister. Your sister Gweno sings in Welsh as well,
and Cornish.
And Cornish.
Yes.
And we saw her supporting Alanis Morissette in Cardiff, which was brilliant. it was a great celebration of Welsh that day as well, because Megan Wynne did a little bit in Welsh as well. So it was great. I think even Alanis Morissette tried to say something in Welsh. I can't tell you whether she did a good job of it or not. Does that tend to travel outside of Wales enough though, or would you like to see it travel a bit further?
It does and can travel. I think, to be honest with you, I think the biggest barrier isn't language, it's Brexit and difficulty getting visas to travel in other countries to perform. I think that's probably where the barriers are, especially for touring artists at the moment. But in terms of it would be great to tour more, tour more in England. I've got a few shows in England coming up, but people are just really interested. They just want to know what's going on. They're excited to hear new stuff. Yeah, like I said, I think people are far more open to stuff than we give them credit for. Because I think a lot of the time, people who control, I don't know, radio or maybe in the past, people who control radio and TV assume that people who only speak English don't want to hear anything else. And maybe that's true for some, but I think a lot of people are far more open.
Well, listen, I'd definitely like to see the Welsh Tourist Board and the Cornish Tourist Board actually do something with you and your sister. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? I mean, rather than always it being about lovely photos of the countryside, and actually that's quite unrealistic, because normally whenever you see these these videos have come to Wales, whatever, the sun is shining and it's all beautiful, and 9 times out of 10 when I come to Wales, it's raining.
It is raining. It does rain. It does rain. As soon as September came in, the summer was over. Now it's just hasn't stopped raining.
Exactly. So let's have a little bit of a twist on that, please. These tourist boards. Let's encourage people to find out about the culture a bit more, and including the language. That would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And actually, I've had other Welsh artists on here before as well. In Wales, the arts are promoted really well, I feel. Do you not think?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're really proud of the arts that we make, and we're really keen always to represent that, not just within Wales. We try and do that internationally as well through the Arts Council and Wales Arts International. There was the Creative Europe programme when we were part of Europe that was really good at partnership working between countries with languages and cultures. That was really good. But we are really proud of our culture, our language, our heritage, and just really keen to share it.
And that's a great thing that you are. It really is a great thing you are. What are you working on right now, Annie? Oh, we've lost your vocals again. A minute. Oh, that's it. That's
it. We're in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good?
Yep.
Yes. So my album is out on the 26th, next Friday, a week today. And so I'm just focusing on that. I've got a lot of practicing to do. You can see some of my gear here. So practicing. So this stuff, logistic stuff. I don't know if you can see in the corner, I've got some records to send. There's piles of them. So I'm packing them. That's quite a boring task, I'll be honest with you. Who knew how boring it would be just to pack up a load of vinyls? But it is really good, though.
Well, here's a question for you. What do you listen to whilst you're doing that, other than children shouting at you? What because that's what all parents listen to. What
podcasts? I like.
Oh, really?
I went through years and years of just listening to true crime, which, to be honest with you, is so miserable, obviously, because it's about murder, that I'm considering the state of the world and everything. I just tend to listen to stuff. At the moment, I'm listening to one on the BBC about survival and people who are stranded in the ocean for days and then they're found. So it's quite harrowing, but also, it comes good.
Yeah.
So it's escapism for me. I think if I listen to music when I'm not in a receptive sort of mode, it doesn't really get in. So I'd rather listen more attentively than just passively.
Yeah. You don't ever just have background music on then, or does it do you struggle with that if you have background music on, that it's like you want to actually listen to it properly and then it starts to distract you from what you're doing?
Yeah, a bit of both. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I like I said, I think I'd like to, because with kids, time is precious, and I want to use any like free time I have to be proactive in how I engage with the arts. And I guess I could just put it on passively, but I want to know what it's about. I want to engage with stuff, and I can't do that if I'm packing records.
Yeah.
So if I listen to a podcast, I don't really, unless it's something I really want to listen to, I don't mind if I miss a few bits here and there.
It's true. It's true. I've recently just listened to a book. And I've never really done that before. I've always read books, but I've just done an interview with somebody, and I got a copy of their book sent to me as a PDF. And I thought, I don't really want to read it as a PDF. It doesn't feel right, and I don't want to print it out. So I listened to it, but I found that quite good because I could do other stuff whilst listening to it, but it all went in. So listening to books is another one.
Yeah, do you know what? Audiobooks is a good idea. I don't know why I haven't done that more. To be honest with you, I think the truth of it is because I did I went back to school and did my master's and my doctorate. Reading became like a thing where I needed to take in information, and I haven't really got back into the idea of reading for fun. I've forgotten how to do it. So I think audiobooks would be a good way to do that, or a good introduction back into fiction or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. There's a challenge for you in for the rest of 2025. Maybe as you do some packing of your albums later, you might pick an audiobook as well.
Good idea. I will look into that. I will.
I think that's an interesting one. Thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us about your music, and thank you for everything that you do, Ani.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your time as well. It's nice to talk to people who are interested in what you do as well and give you the time. So
100% we're interested in what you do. Now, listen, if you want to support Ani, please do exactly what that child just said. Okay? Which is support mummy. Support mummy.
Yeah. That's all she does is shout generally.
No, it's singing, isn't it? At an early age.
Sing, yes.
Yeah. There is some theory about that, isn't it? That children do sing quite a lot by sort of shouting at an early age or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I hope that's true because she does a lot of singing, so it makes it frames it better. I prefer that. It's
a good way to look at it in your head, isn't it? Perhaps reduces the tension a little bit.
Yes.
But please do go and support Ani. Connect with her on the Instagram and everything. I see you've got a new profile photo up, which is rather nice as well. So go and support her there. And the album is available for pre-order. So if you haven't ordered it already, get on and do that. That would be absolutely fantastic. We will be back soon with more My Music. But until then, from Ani and myself, bye for now.